Hi sweeties, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. All your support is appreciated. My name is Ryan and I'm back with another episode of True Crime at Bedtime. I know it's been a month. Just uploaded another video that had nothing to do with true crime, so I thought I'm gonna bring back for you. So we are going to be talking about the John List case, also known as the Family Annihilator. This does get crazy. It gets crazier and crazier. The more I read up on it, the more I looked at it, it just got crazier and crazier to me. If you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe because we will definitely be doing more true crime content. And we also do just regular videos, you know, so if you just like to tune into any of that, go ahead and subscribe, you know what I'm saying? And if you clicked on this video, obviously you was being nosy, so you should just go ahead and stay because it gets crazy. Grab your stuffies and let's go ahead and get into the video. John Emil List was born in Bay City, Michigan on September 17th of 1925. He was the son of John Frederick List and Alma Barbara Florence List. John was raised in a very strict German-American religious household. He was also the only child, so that's pretty much all he knew. He didn't really interact with people. He was very much a loner. They said he only talked to his church friends, or well, not church friends, but like his church people when he went to church, and then like his family and stuff when they came over, or you know, his mom and his dad and stuff. But he didn't really have many friends, you know what I'm saying? He went to school like a regular child. He was a regular child. He never showed any psychological problems. He just was antisocial. So John's father was a Lutheran and he was also a Sunday school teacher, and he kind of followed into his father's footsteps. He went into the war after high school. It was the second war that they were having at the time. After the war was basically ending, he ended up enrolling into the University of Michigan, where he got his bachelor's degree in business of administration, and then he went and got his master's degree in accounting at the same university. Luckily, he finished all of his studies and got all his degrees before the Korean War because he was actually called back. They made him, or commissioned him, child? They made him the lieutenant. While being stationed in Fort Eustis in Virginia, he met his soon-to-be wife, Helen. She was already a widower of a former man who died in the war. Helen had already had a daughter from her previous husband, but that didn't stop them, you know what I'm saying? So they ended up dating, doing the boop, the doop, doop, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, she was pregnant. For John, you know, her being pregnant was a big thing for him because, you know, where he came from and how he grew up with his father being a Lutheran and all, it was like he had to marry her. Like, you're pregnant with my child, I have to marry you. So they ended up getting married. They married in 1951, where John was assigned to a finance corp as an accountant, but he ended up being discharged literally in 1952, a year later. He kept moving a lot. He moved to California and then to Detroit, where he like had different jobs and stuff, and then he finally settled down in Kalamazoo. I don't even know where we got Kalamazoo, but yeah, he finally settled down with his family in Kalamazoo. In Kalamazoo, he worked at a paper company, which made enough money for him to take care of him and his family. So it was doing what it needed to do. No worries, you know. So once they got settled and the paper company thing was going well, they ended up having 2 more children. So basically, in the 1950s, his family was thriving. They were doing great financially. He worked at the paper company. He was promoted and all this good stuff. He was making good money to support him and his wife and his 3 kids at this point. Now, of course, we all know everything isn't as it seems. So, of course, on the outside, they look like a really good, financially stable, happy family. But on the inside, it wasn't that at all. Helen had become an alcoholic, and of course, that put the relationship at a very rocky situation, put it in a rocky place. So of course, John can't sit down long enough. So of course he moved to New York because he found a new opportunity there. That didn't last long. He ended up going to New Jersey for this opportunity of being the vice president for a local bank. So of course, we're probably all wondering, why is it that John can't sit down at one place and stick to one job? Here's your answer. It was later reported that John would actually get fired from these jobs because of his lack of customer service. I guess that's what you say, like positive customer service. He was very like stale faced. Like, he didn't show any amusement. He didn't show any type of signs that he wanted to be there. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just wasn't job material. He wasn't customer service material, so he would get fired, and you know, he would just cover it up by saying he got opportunities in different places, and he would just move back and forth, back and forth. So since John was struggling to keep a job, obviously he was struggling to keep his finances up. Now the problem with this is he knew that the finances was, you know what I'm saying, but his wife didn't know. His kids didn't know. His family thinking, oh, we good. You know what I'm saying? We moving around. He getting better opportunities. We good. Y'all not good. But mind you, at this point, John and his family are living in this 19-room mansion. His mom has moved in. Like, I don't even know how we even got to a mansion because he can't keep a job. But I don't mind my business because this was 1952. Y'all know that mansion probably like a nickel. Let me shut up. Oh, I sound so young. So they're still in New Jersey. John has lost his whole job in the local bank, but he didn't tell his family, so he would just get up every day, get ready, pretend like everything was normal. He pretended like he was going to work, but he would just go sit at the train station. And he would sit at the train station and read the newspaper, and basically he would I can't think of the word. He was basically, okay, I can't say the word, so I'm just gonna say stealing. He was stealing money from his mother's account to pay for the mortgage of the house. His mother. Sorry, his mother? He was literally at the train station reading newspaper, stealing money from his mother's bank account to pay for the mortgage. So at this point, the lack of financial stability, his wife being a drunk, and his daughter all of a sudden wanting to become an actress, which is way off from how he was brought up, like an actress. Like, girl, bye, be a Sunday school teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at this point he getting real depressed, and on top of all of that, he ended up finding out that his wife Helen ended up actually having syphilis from her old husband who died in the war. So at this point, he feeling like his life ain't giving the girls Lutheran. You know what I'm saying? It's not giving that. Like, his life is literally going to shreds to the point where he is becoming very depressed, and he's not in his right state of mind, is what he was trying to say. So since all of this stuff was happening and it was going against his religion, he decided that he was going to put his own stop to it. He was going to put his own end to it. This is where stuff gets crazy. When I was researching this, I was like, dang, like, whew, child, it's about to get crazy. So buckle your seatbelts and get your stuffies. 1971, November 7th. Let's picture it. It was a very normal day, you know. The kids were getting ready for school. Mom was cooking breakfast. His mother was downstairs making her little toast. Everybody just had no clue in the world what was going to happen today. The milk had been delivered. Everything was going completely normal in the List household. After the kids left for school, he ended up writing a letter to the milkman saying he doesn't need them to be delivered anymore. Immediately after writing the letter, John loaded up his 2 handguns and he went to the kitchen. You know, he was greeted with a bright smile from his wife, and he just shot her in the head, killing her immediately. She was done. She was dead. It was over. Next, he went down to his mother's part of the home, and the sad thing about this is she greeted him. She gave him a little kiss. She was making her toast or whatever, and she basically was like, what's that loud sound I heard up there? But he just denied that it was any sound, and then he shot her like in her eye. Literally, like, she was looking at him. Bang! Shot her in the eye. Was that insensitive? I'm sorry. He had left his mom there because she was too heavy to carry back, like, upstairs or wherever he was going to put the body. So he just left her there. He ended up taking Helen's body and dragging it to their ballroom. Yes, these people had a ballroom. Financially unstable with a ballroom. He went to the kitchen and mopped the floor at least 4 times. This is what the mop looked like after he had did what he needed to do. After trying to clean up behind himself, he ended up calling the kids' school and was basically saying that they won't be there for a while because they're going to go visit their grandma in South Carolina, covering up his tracks, you know. So after he did that, he basically waited for the kids to come home, and while he was waiting for the kids to come home, he sat there and made a sandwich. Mind you, it's a dead body in the ballroom, and then his mother's body is in her room, or whatever room she was in, and he just made a sandwich. That's what he's known for. He was known for killing his whole family and then making a sandwich. That's literally his whole personality trait at this point. As soon as his 16-year-old daughter and his 13-year-old son came home, he immediately shot them. They didn't even see it coming. Came through the door, bang. Came through the door, bang. And although these all sound like brutal deaths, especially his mother's, that wasn't even the worst death. Now, we all know he has 3 kids and not just 2. So the 3rd kid was actually his favorite. And he was at soccer practice at the time. So he went and picked him up for soccer practice. Y'all, let me, hold on. This is where it gets, this is the crazy part. He went and picked him up for soccer practice, watched his whole soccer practice, picked him up. And when they got home, you know, as soon as he got through the door, he started emptying the gun on him, right? Now, the only reason he shot him so many times was because when he first shot him, he missed. And then the son tried to fight back, as he should. So he trying to fight back, so he just emptied the clip. He shot him in his face and his chest. Yeah, and I felt so bad because he suffered the brutal death. You know, John ended up trying to say like none of them saw it coming and da-da-da-da. He didn't want them to see it coming. You shot that boy way too many times. You could have did a good headshot. You could have just tried again. You didn't have to do all that. What's crazy is on November 5th, 2 days before he murdered his whole entire family, he actually asked them what they would want their bodies to, like, what would they want to happen to their bodies after they died. And he just ended up putting them in sleeping bags, and they were all in the ballroom except for his mother Alma, because she was in the room that she was killed in because she was too heavy. Finally, he had to do some tying up the loose end stuff. He had already called the children's school. He had to do some stuff at the bank. He had to cut his face out of like family portraits and stuff, so they'd have no way to identify him like that way. He wrote a whole letter to his pastor about his crimes and why he committed it, and I have the video of like somebody reading the letter. So I'll link it down below. I was gonna put it on the video, but it's 5 minutes long. But I'm gonna put it in the link in the description if that's what y'all wanna if y'all wanna go read it. But basically, overall, the main point was he did this to save their souls, because like I said in a few clips back, he was basically saying that all the stuff that was happening with his family was not very Lutheran. It was against his religion. It was way out of bounds with his religion. So he felt like if he killed them now, that he would save their souls before they got too lost, basically. People were saying like why he didn't kill himself, but he didn't kill himself because that's considered a sin. So it was like, why would I be saving their life to go to heaven if I'm just gonna go here and kill myself in sin? You know what I'm saying? So he didn't kill himself. He felt like if he just kind of came clean to his pastor, then he would be free of his sin, basically. After writing a note and tying up all the loose ends, he actually slept in the house for one more night before he had packed up and left, which is disturbing and disgusting, because you know your family is dead in this house. Your mother, your wife, your 3 kids are dead. You cleaned up the mess. You committed these crimes. You confessed to committing these crimes to your pastor, and you slept in the same house. The next morning he was gone, and he wasn't seen for a whole 18 years. It took 29 days for the bodies to even be discovered. They were in there dead for 29 days. Like I told y'all, the lights were down. The school wasn't I guess the school wasn't really concerned for a little bit, because they told them they won't be in school for a while because they'll be, you know, with their grandma in South Carolina. You know, the neighbors didn't really, they just mind their business or whatever. It was said that the neighbors had like noticed a mysterious white car driving around their home, but they decided to mind their business, which I don't even blame them, because that's not my house, that's not my car. It ain't got nothing to do with me. You know, that's how you get killed in horror movies. Nothing to do with me. What really caught the neighbor's eye was the lights going out, because I think I've said that he turned the lights off, but I meant to say he turned the lights on, I guess, so it can look like the family was, you know, still alive in there. It turns out that the white car that was coming around was their daughter's drama coach, Ed. Found it odd that his student had just, you know, disappeared. Mind you, this wasn't her original dance coach. John told Barbara, which was her original drama coach, about the whole grandmother thing, and I guess it was the information was passed down, and I guess he just got worried, so he went looking around and tried to contact the police, but he wasn't really taken serious because first of all, it's none of your business. Why are you in these people's business? Like, they said they're going on vacation, you know what I'm saying? Like, with lack of evidence, it's kind of like yeah, the police could have investigated just to make sure there weren't like safety check things, but then again, they told you they had an alibi, they told you where they was at, so it's kind of like 50-50, you know. So at this point, Ed is actually really concerned, so he calls up the other drama coach, Barbara, and he was like, can you please help me like investigate or something? Like, I need to know what's going on. Like, it's itching him. So the police, like I said, they didn't do much, but they did go around and ask the neighbors about any suspicions they may have, you know, seen or whatever. And one of the neighbors, Dr. Bill, actually told the police about the whole light situation and his little, you know, minor concerns about the situation. But it was not, like I said, it was not enough evidence to like murder. When Barbara and Ed went to go investigate, Bill and his wife ended up going to investigate as well because they was being nosy. They saw the white car there, so they was like, I want to know the thesis. Let's go see. The police were called, and when the authorities arrived, they immediately found the confession letters and the bodies. At this point, John's trail had went cold because he had dropped his car off at this Kennedy International Airport in New York City, and once it was found, it was too late. Like, he was gone. The car was here, but he was gone, and there was no way to trace him. So the case went cold for 18 years. He got away with this for 18 years. At this point, 18 years go by. John List ain't even John List no more. He done changed his name to Robert Clark. He done moved from Michigan to Colorado, where he got a job in Denver. He had joined a Lutheran church where he met his new wife Dolores. Like, he had made a whole entire life. His whole identity was he was a new person. He was living a very normal life, great job, and boom, it was literally crumbling like this. Like, it literally took a snap for it all to crumble. In 1989, Fox had started this new show. I don't know if it was started, but they released an episode on America's Most Wanted, and it basically talked about John's entire crime. It showed his picture. They was calling it the New Jersey mass murder. So of course, it was not his lucky day like it was 18 years ago, because his neighbor actually saw it and immediately recognized John or Roberts. She immediately called the authorities, and they were on their way. The police met with his new wife to kind of fill in the blanks of what's been happening over these 18 years. They arrested him on June 1st, and then took his fingerprints, and of course they matched with, because he was a part of the military, so his stuff is in the system. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as it matched, it was over for him. It was over. Since it matched, he couldn't sit there and lie about it anymore. Like, it's over, so he just confessed to the crimes. He was convicted of 5 counts of first-degree murder. He was also imprisoned with 5 terms of consecutive imprisonment in 1990 in April. He tried to do the whole, I was not mentally stable at the time of the crime, blah, blah, blah. Which he wasn't. He was depressed. But baby, you just kill people. Like, I don't do that. I'm depressed, but I don't go around killing folks. Like, you can't. What you mean? He tried to say he had PTSD, but they wasn't having that. The court was like, girl, like, what? Okay. So since his defense was rejected, he was put into New Jersey State Prison. He died March 21st of 2008. I was born in 2005, so that's crazy. He was still alive when I was born. But he died in 2008. He died from pneumonia while he was 82 years old. He lived to see 82 years old, and his daughter didn't even live to see 18. She didn't live to see 21. She didn't live to start a life. His sons didn't grow up to be whoever they wanted to be. Helen had syphilis, but she could have got rid of it. So, ever watched any films like Judgment Day or The Stepfather or American Justice? That's what it's called. Those were kind of based on his whole story. So, you know, if you want to learn more, want to get a visual representation of what happened, I don't know why, but then you should go check out those shows and see what you can find, you know. Okay, y'all, final thoughts. This story was crazy to me when I was like researching it, because of like the how many times he was losing jobs, and then he lied about the job that he was stealing from his mom. Then you killed your mama, then you killed your entire family, and literally lived a whole new life as a whole new person for 18 years. Like, you had a whole nother wife. This lady didn't know nothing about you killing nobody. Like, that's crazy. If you made it this far, go ahead and drop in the comments what was the craziest part of the story for you. And if you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. You know what we do over here. We do true crime, deep dives, and pretty much anything I want to do, because it's my channel. And since you clicked on this video because you were nosy, go ahead and like it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt. Just tap it real quick. Okay, I will see you guys in a month. No, I'm just kidding. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.